Welcome to Reddit Aliens. People with street smarts, what's your most street tip? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you ever get pulled over at night, immediately turn on all your lights inside your car. In my experience, it tends to relieve whatever tension the officer may have, since they can see you a little bit more clearly. Plus, it's better than having a flashlight shined in your face. Never count your cash in public, even if it's singles. Never yell back at a group of guys verbally harassing you. Just keep walking. Don't make a face. Don't change your walking pace. Keep going, as they're not there. In crowded areas, carry bags, purses, and packages in front of you rather than behind you. If something feels wrong, it's probably about to be really wrong. Listen to your gut. Walk on the road if you're in a real shady neighborhood and it's late at night, not in traffic, but away from alleyway entrances. Don't raise your voice with strangers and always be the last to speak. You don't know if these guys are wired properly or not. Security guards, doormen, food cart operators, and blue-collar workers in general are well versed about the location of the nearest restrooms. If an attractive woman asks for directions, look for her partner behind you or going into your car to take what they can grab. Typical vacation area scam. More casual and less dangerous, look through people and they will get out of your way. On the sidewalk, the streets, etc., act like you can't be bothered to even acknowledge that the other people exist, and most people won't bother you, including the crazies and those with bad intentions. If you're in the hood and you see kids playing outside, you're probably safe. If there are a lot of people outside but no kids, be super cautious and walk with a purpose. If it's empty or only teenagers or young adults, get out ASAP. Exercise your legs. Although in a bad situation, they'll probably feel like wet noodles. If needed, you'll be able to run. It will also show in everyday life that you're capable of moving effortlessly. Most people are sluggish, and it's not hard to notice. Encouraging wellness and physical fitness is always a good thing in any situation, so do your squats or just go for a walk. You'll be better for it. If someone is blatantly violating social norms, such as blasting music on the subway or taking a phone call in a movie theater, keep in mind that if they're willing to violate one social norm, they're probably willing to violate others, including prohibitions on violence. You don't have to be meek in the face of obnoxious people, but you do have to factor in the increased likelihood of violence. If someone approaches you, says, "Hey man, I ain't gonna rob you," they're probably gonna try to rob you. Always put something between yourself and the ground, even if it's just a piece of cardboard, especially on asphalt. It absorbs heat and it will feel like it's sucking the life out of you. Never show your watch, wallet, or phone in areas known for pickpockets. Also, don't touch your pockets if you see warning signs, because a good thief will be watching to see which pocket your valuables are in. And when approached by someone on the street, be mindful of who else is watching and what is behind you. Try and keep everything in front of you and don't be afraid to shout and swear at them to get attention. If someone puts a gun or knife in your face, don't be a hero. If you notice somebody following your car whilst you're driving, try and drive in a circle by taking consecutive right or left turns and see if they're still following you. Fighting is not like the movies. Many people won't fight fair even. You never know what a person's got in their pockets, like a knife or any deadly weapon for that matter. Also, seen people go back to their car and get a piece. Also, on the other side of the coin, you shouldn't pull out a weapon unless you absolutely know you're going to do some damage, because that same weapon can be pulled on you quick. Always look like you know where you're going, even when you don't. Well, if you're traveling, never randomly stop on the sidewalk to consult a map or appear visibly lost. Duck into a coffee shop or something to orient yourself. I travel quite a lot, so some things I've realized. If you find a gas station and all the windows are covered by ads so much they can't see outside, well, that is because they don't want to be a witness. If you stop seeing sidewalks, a lack of street light, walking signs, or no more stoplights, that is not where you need to be. Always keep a change of clothes and some water in your car. Never know when you need it. If you feel like you're in an unsafe area, keep your head up, look angry, and look like you know where you're going, even when you don't. You're much more likely to be a target if you're looking around or showing signs that you're lost. Mind your own business. If you see someone doing something they shouldn't be doing that isn't hurting someone, drinking on the train, stealing, illegally selling stuff, keep it moving. Don't stare either. Trying to get a stranger to abide by your version of right and wrong can end in you getting jumped very easily. So yeah, if it isn't hurting anyone, it's not your business. Don't put a target on your back over some moral high ground. If someone starts to loudly state that they've lost their wallet or phone, don't obviously or immediately go to check on yours in your bag or pocket. It's a common pickpocket technique to get people to show their pickpockets where their stuff is. The most practical self-defense item you can own is a very high-powered flashlight, especially one with a strobe function. Drawing a weapon will always escalate a situation and may cause any aggressor to fight with lethal force. You also cannot use a weapon preemptively except in very clear self-defense scenarios. You can't shoot someone just because they look shifty. You also cannot legally carry them in many places. None of this applies to a flashlight. You can legally and inconspicuously carry it anywhere. You can use it without provocation, without legal or moral issue. It is also highly effective. It is incredibly difficult to hit or stab someone who is shining a 1000 lumen strobe light in your face. It can be almost impossible to properly see where that person is, and it will be painful to even look at them. As a bonus, flashlights are just super handy tools to have in day-to-day life. I live in not that really safe area. There are several things I learned, and one of those is never look like someone's eyes when you sense something is going on. Instead, be observant of your surroundings. People know what's going on, and for sure, you'll manage to sense what's up. Another is, when you sense something is going on outside, don't go out right away to check. Peek out the window and see from there what's going on. If you can see from that window, it's much safer to just keep the curious being inside the house. There was this time a newly arrested person got loose and went running in our neighborhood. We really live near a jail. Gunshots were being fired. The old dudes in our area all went out to see what was going on. They were initially thinking that it would be someone playing with fireworks since it's around January. They all went out mad and irritated. But when the police signals these old, nosy, huge-bellied men to get back to their houses, they went running. They can't run fast having a huge beer belly ahead of them. There were a lot of crimes being made just around our area. People are quite friendly, but the danger is still there. When I buy a cooked meal, I'd hear the latest of who is who and what is what. As a woman, when I sense something is strange, for example, while on a public transpo, I'd get off, but only to a place I'm familiar with, and where there's also people around. Saved me a lot of times. I live in Asia. If you think violence situation is about to happen, clench your teeth, put your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and drop your chin closer to your chest. Never ever, ever put keys in between your fingers, and take your hands out of your pockets and stand staggered, not with feet together. If you're on public transportation and people are exhibiting antisocial behavior, smoking, playing music on their speakers, etc., don't say anything. These people know what they are doing and are most likely looking for a fight. They also likely have very little to lose. Ignore it, and if it bothers you enough, get off or move at the next stop. If you're feeling unsafe, find the biggest, friendliest person and act like you know them. Chances are they will understand, help you out, and you'll end up making a friend. Had a group of young men once nod in a targeting manner towards me in a dangerous subway station in San Francisco. The big dude I sat next to and acted like I knew was understanding when I explained why I was sitting next to him. We ended up chatting during the subway ride too. Very cool guy. But what if the biggest, friendliest person is the one looking for trouble? Best to just have situational awareness. We'll talk about that in a minute. When someone is staring at you looking for a fight, glance at them and in your peripheral vision, but otherwise don't maintain direct eye contact except for a brief moment. This exudes confidence, yet acknowledge their threat. Do not keep staring long at them, challenge look, or actually avert eye contact, signaling you as vulnerable prey. Stand tall, and if all carrying one bag or even bags, put Put that bag in your weaker non-dominant hand, so when you're under sudden attack, you could react faster. Do not burden your dominant hand in groceries or purse or whatever in a high-risk area. It's better to carry 2 bags in your non-dominant hand than having each hand carrying a bag. If you see the same car twice, get into a shop or store. If someone asks you for the time, keep your hand on your wallet and only slightly pull your pocket out to check the time. If you're in a shady neighborhood, remove anything that could be seen as a symbol for a rival gang. Hat, jacket, stuff like that. It's unlucky, but not worth the risk. This one isn't so much protection, but when you're walking and you know how people do that little shuffle thing when they walk towards each other because you don't know which way the people are going? Well, if you maintain a line of sight in a direction, not looking, not the eyes of people coming towards you, people will just move out of your way. No awkward little dance. If there's an emergency in a crowded place, find your own exit. Don't blindly follow the crowd. Many people in an emergency try to go out the same way they came in, and it can lead to jammed doorways or pileups that can trap you. Property damage doesn't matter in that moment. Break windows if you can. Drywall can be broken through fairly easily too. Bust out that bitch like the Kool-Aid man. Another tip, get to know your local homeless people. If you live in a city and regularly walk past the same homeless people, stop and say hi once in a while. Just have a brief chat and give them some change. Even a smile helps. Believe me, these guys know everything about what happens on that block. If you're ever in trouble, they'll help you out if you've been friendly, or they may just pretend they didn't see a thing. They can also help watch your car. For instance, if someone dings it and drives off, they might even get the plate for you. View the street as their home. When walking on the street, you're walking through their living room. They can be excellent hosts. This doesn't apply if you're traveling in a new city. Not worth befriending a homeless guy if you're only there like 2 days. Walk with confidence, situational awareness. Shocking to me how little people have. Don't give people any attention, literally zero. The crazy on the street, once you acknowledge his existence, he's got you. I find headphones important on public transportation. One example, I get on the red line in Chicago and sit down. I stared out the window. Dude got on the train and sat behind me, was crazy, and started effing with other people. I didn't notice right away, but I was closest to him, and since I completely ignored him, he ignored me. People look for reactions out of you. Best thing you can do is not react if possible. If someone tries to rob you, just give them everything. Lock your doors and windows. It is way easier than you think to get into someone's house without them being aware. Dogs are better to keep around than a gun. You can be caught unaware and never have a chance to reach for your defensive weapons of choice. The dog will warn you and often give their lives to protect you. Bitumen is predominantly the surface layer, but most sealed roads will have a minimum of 2 other layers which stabilize the roadway. The other 2 layers are primarily made of a mix of bitumen, crushed rock, compacted sand, chalk, and larger rocks. All right.